Okay, we'll begin. So we'll start in a seated position. Connecting to breath. Feeling that breath occurs or lands in the body. So softening abdomen. And also expanding the ribs. So we soften the abdomen, there's this degree of softness, even passivity. And as we expand our ribs, there's this degree of choice and participation, activation even. So yes, we want them both. Relaxed and participatory, engaged. So the back side of your body, you can feel that breath in the low back and the lumbar, this fascia above the hip bone. And in those low ribs, low and mid ribs. There could be any number of qualities in our exhale lately. We've been working with a very active form of exhale. And let's try this on. It can also be this quality of slowed or kind of regulated passivity. So I can allow my ribs to simply give in to gravity, elasticity, but I can do so in a way that slows and almost controls that passivity of exhale. Let's try that out. You're letting the ribs and the air exit, relax. Just not all at once. And so let's start our pranayama right here. Let's go about 8 in, 10 out. Just a little bit more than a 1-to-1 ratio. And you don't have to count. You can just pulse, guess, calibrate. And as the ribs are let down, as the breath is let out, the shoulders relax, the arm bones, weight can be felt riding on the ribs. These short little moments that we have in pranayama in the beginning. So just acquainting ourselves with our current state, acquainting ourselves again with our breath. Let's cross right over left, moving into half lotus or a cross-legged position. Right over left as we move into a seated spinal twist. So when you can feel both sit bones on the ground, inhaling, as the abdomen relaxes, breath finds the pelvic floor, the sit bones, the tailbones sink. The ribs rise and telescope away from the hips. And then exhaling, we'll turn to our right. Now the degree of engagement, the degree of passivity, the degree of just that active involvement, that all can be modulated pose to pose, moment to moment. And releasing. Let's unwind and go to the other side. So we're crossing left over right, half lotus, cross-legged. As our breath can be felt in the pelvic floor, there's that ground connection. And then exhaling, turning to our left. It's been a while, but I was playing with a little bit of sponge yesterday. So I had spilled some water and it was there, so my sponge kind of drank up that water. And one of the things I had kind of forgotten and was noticing again was just how the slightest pressure, and you can see the water getting kind of shuttled and redistributed into those other vacuoles. So even within the sponge itself, without dripping or squeezing it out, the water could be just shuttled and moved in and through all these vacuoles from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right. Just see the water moving and how easily it moved. It was just a nice analogy for twists and asana and poses. Release, inhaling, unwind. All right, so let's move on to our hands and knees. We're going to set up turbo dog. If you want it a little easier on your arms, set up your turbo dog on blocks. If you don't care to put your hands on blocks, great. Oh, let's add in a note here. I'm noticing something. People are taking to putting their hands on blocks for things like downward dog and turbo dog, which is great. It brings the hands higher, a little less weight on the shoulders and the wrists. But if you're using a block, try going the wide way so that your entire palm, thumb, and little finger can spread out. These top fingers, they may hang off. That'll be fine. And the reason being is we arrange the block to go with the length of our fingers, there's this unstoppable desire to grab with the thumb. And I can feel how that goes into the joint, and I don't love that for anyone. So if you're using a block, go wide. So you can't thumb grip. Moving the hands just a tad forward from the shoulders plumb line. Bending elbows. Inhale into the sides and the back of the shoulders, ribs rather. And with toes curled under, exhale. Pressing knees off the ground, turbo dog. Relaxing the head, neck. And then condensing the area between the top of the foot and the shin. As you're condensing that space between foot and shin, feel the bones of the foot sliding under the shin. The heel sinks. The legs engage. The sit bones lift. Spine elongates. All that from the foot. All right, optional up level if you want. Option 1 is just leave both feet on the ground. Option 2 is smoothly raise the right leg back, but keep the arms in turbo dog. That means keep the elbows bent. There you go. Yes. There's some arm lines there. And it's perfectly fine to work with knees down as you are. You might just feel for elongating through the guts. There you go. Yes, yes. And then my leg up, people, will switch sides. So bring the right foot down and changing left leg raises. And we'll set left foot down, we'll set knees down. Giving the arms a rest. And then you decide if you want to keep the hands on blocks or on ground. We're going to walk our body back and kind of work this stretched out embryo. So I'm walking my knees away from my hands for the purpose of sending the butt back, getting that, the sides of the body, the lats, to get a little stretch. So for me, it's not so much about getting close to the ground, but getting my hands stretched deeply away from my hips. And taking this positional opportunity to breathe into the back where the lats kind of tie in there, the low back bones, all the way up to the shoulder blades. We can address so much of the shoulder and the back. Just getting this little bit of back exposure. Breathing sweetly into the low back and the lats. All right, let's release for now. And when we lie on back, we're going to get into frog lifting through. So I let bent legs separate. You can still feel the back and the top of the butt on the ground. And ensure the feet are pushed away from the head just enough so that you can register those abdominals, helping or keeping the low back on the ground. Here we go, inhale. We'll float the head and shoulders up as we're breathing into the abdomen and the low back. And then exhaling. Letting that exhale to start to work the tissues between the hip bones, the muscles, the tissues, while simultaneously reaching the legs away from the pelvis, kind of opening up to the groin area. And then inhaling. So we know how these go. I'll just talk through this once more. And then exhaling is activating through the tissues and the muscles around, above the pubic bone, between the hip bones. Sending the legs outward, sinking the low belly down. We'll do just a few more of these, so please continue. And I put up this little video called Strolling Through This Under the Skin, I think. Funny name. It's just so you could have another picture or image to appreciate how these soft tissues of collagen and proteins, how they kind of stretch and hold water and pool and move. I think when we have that image, it can help us move and work in ways that promotes fluid movement. And this may be a wonderful alternative to muscle stretching. Sometimes muscle stretching is just not in the cards. But we can certainly do a lot to move and push and wring the fluids and the lymph through the body, and that is awesome. We'll make this the last one. So it'll feel really different if I'm lifting my head and compressing the front side of my body to move and express fluid from all around the gut nerve, compared to activating muscle. So we'll try this out in straddle lifting through. So we can maintain our lying position. We'll straighten the legs and then separate them apart. So this may exert a little more of that stretchy sensation than the frog. And we'll just keep going with them. So inhaling, float the head, the shoulder blades up. So as I'm lifting, I could feel the muscles contracting, working. That would be one way we can attune. Exhale. I could press through the legs as if to stretch the muscles, which would be fine if you're warm, and pulling the belly down. Or inhaling, letting the pelvis down. We could exhale and kind of move the fluids all within our sponge-like vacuoles, the sheaths, reaching out through the legs, sinking the belly down. I'll do a few more, inhaling into the breath, reaches the pelvic floor. And then exhale, using the legs to move. Open up that area around the lymph nodes, groin, sinking the belly down. And just give yourself a few more practice rounds with this. It's not that you're doing anything differently, really, but you're attuning to these different substrates in your body. And that might be imagining how they move, imagining, feeling for, how is it muscles condense or open? How is it that fluids get pushed and moved and expressed across membranes? And I find that has just such radically different, it's a different sense of movement. And it's just another way of listening in the body. I think that's kind of cool. So lots of listening tools. And then just finishing that up. Great. Help your legs together. And when we turn over onto a side, We'll press to hands and knees. And then inhale. We'll step the right foot forward. Raising the left arm. This is for twisting lunge. Just going to get right into it. And then exhaling the left elbow over the right thigh. Twisting lunge. So my left knee is down. And we can set up a couple little easy experiments here. We could twist, right, this easy twisting lunge, or pardon me, a twisting lunge, to feel the spine, the joints of the spine moving and articulating. And just take a couple breaths to feel the bones, that structure, and hold the nerve, how they move. And we could do this twist to ring and feel the fluid, ringing, pressing, movingness in the organs, in the guts. So just take a couple breaths. You can attune to, feel how this twist is a very soft tissue and fluid mover. And feel the softness of the organs, the yieldingness of the organs. Good. Inhaling, unwind. We'll set hands under shoulders. Exhale, step right foot back. Lowering, belly to earth. Inhale into the abdomen. Hands pressing the chest up, cobra, stretching the legs back. Exhale, lower, downward dog, resetting the hands. And of course, you can dial up your degree of activation. You can dial up your degree of passivity or flowingness. What happens if you engage the legs, engage the arms, and press to subtly stretch or elongate through the lats and the spine, the torso? There we go. Twisting lunge. Inhale, step your left foot forward, setting the right knee down. And exhaling the right elbow over the left thigh. Inhaling, unwind. You go hands under shoulders, exhaling, chaturanga. We'll lower all the way down. Cobra. Stretch the legs back. So again, you could attune to muscle, you could attune to the skin, the fascia. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. So heading into lunge, inhale, step the right foot forward. I will bring the arms up in front of us so the palms face up. And we're just going to get a little more warming quality, hopefully, around the shoulder blade and the armpit, the rotator area. So we inhale the ribs into the arm. And just shuffle, slide these arm bones just back a little bit. Exhale as you squeeze the arm toward the shoulder. Hopefully that opens the front side of the shoulder, the collarbone, arm bone area. You can move the shoulders, the elbows away from the ears. Do that a couple more times. So release the pressures. Inhale. So in that sponge-like motion, the breath can flood into those middle and upper ribs. And then exhaling, squeezing back of armpit. Pulling shoulder down, elbow down. Let's do one more inhale. And exhale is the squeezing, arm bone towards shoulder blade. And release. Inhale, back your hips, weight over the left knee. I'm going to turn around here. Twisting extended lunge. Exhaling your left armpit over the right thigh. Fingertip touching the ground. Right arm reaches overhead. Now maybe this left hand needs a little block. Inhale, passing the right hand beside the hip for interlock. Exhaling the left arm under the right thigh. And release. Inhale, let's unwind, hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. When we step back and lower, we'll interlace hands for boat. Alternately, you could hook on to the bottom of your butt. That's another way. So stretch the legs back. Hopefully that promotes the backs of the legs, the butt to engage, so your low back feels fine. Inhale into the abdomen. Lifting the heart forward, exhaling, knuckles reach back. Now working that breath all the way under the collar, armpit. And release. Inhale, hands under chest. Exhale, downward dog. Spread the muscles of the hand. Stretch, reach out through all the digits. So you're feeling your thumb pad, your index finger pad, your middle finger pad, your ring finger pad. Reach all the way into that ring finger and reach, feel all the way into the pinky pad. Twisting extended lunge. Inhale the left foot forward. Oops, one thing first. We need those armpits. So we're stepping into lunge, left foot forward. We'll bring the palms up like so. Just a few breaths. And again, the squeezing and the ringing. Inhale, ribs into arms. And exhale, squeeze, arms, armpits toward ribs is gathering, condensing. And as we condense in that back side, the front side opens. Let's do one or two more here. Yep, and we are in lunge. As I move the shoulder, the elbow down, kind of clears the head, clears the neck. Engaging in the back, the arm bone just slides back into the... All right. Now that twisting extended. So as we inhale, we'll shift our weight back over the right knee, raising the right arm. So as you're raising the right arm, you're kind of stretching, opening up that armpit you've just been squeezing. Exhale, right armpit over left thigh. Fingertip touch ground. And that left arm reaches overhead. And for the interlock, inhale, passing this left hand beside the left hip. Right hand under right thigh. And release. Inhaling, unwind. So we're going hands to ground, exhaling chaturanga. Stepping back for a second round of boat. Interlace hands behind back. Stretch the tops of your thighs. Lengthy back. Inhale into the abdomen so you can feel that breath underneath the low spine. And through the mid-ribs, keep inhaling, feeling that under the collar. Exhale. Arm bones move back. And release. Inhaling, hands under chest. Exhale, downward dog. All right. So take a little pause here. You can set the knees down or stand. We're going to make our way over to a wall. So we do some downward dog on the wall. Could you do handstand? Sure. I'm just selecting for a very stable version of upside down. Since, yes, the stuff we just did in the shoulder is warming, but also I don't want you to feel any surprises. That kind of loosens up shoulders. So we can go nice, stable, feet on the wall, downward dog on the wall. So I'll loosely talk us in. We'll be mostly on our own. Once we get up there, a few breaths, both feet on the wall. A few breaths, reach one leg away from the wall. And of course, a few breaths, we'll reach the other leg. It's 9 breaths. Here we go. So we're setting up downward dog. With our feet right up on the baseboard. Take a breath in downward dog so you can feel the breath under the shoulder blades. When you're ready on exhale, you'll press foot up hip height. Other foot up hip height. Imagine we're getting close to that 3-3-3 completion. And when you step down, we can keep a nearness to the wall to work half Pashasana. So the reason for the wall is if I angle myself a little bit, and let's say I'm wrapping my right arm around my right shin, I can palm the wall, and it lets me kind of lean in if I want that little bit of lean. It's just another way to balance and work with the chest. So I've got my forearm, my palm against the wall, and this actually gives me a little feedback as I push my forearm into the wall. I free up my shoulder a bit. So I'm going to stay on this right side, let you get in, decide if you want the wall or not. And when we release to switch sides, if you are using the wall for your forearm, you have to angle your body again. So you have to turn about 90 degrees. Okay. So we'll be taking our left arm around the left shin. If you're using the wall, I'm getting my left palm or left forearm to the wall. And then I can use the wall to press, opening up the chest further. Do I need to do it this way? No. But I'm doing it this way for the shoulder. Just that it gives another little piece to press, to be active and supportive in the shoulder. And release. All right. So we can move move our mat back to where we want to work. And we'll step directly in for ostrich. So I'm stepping my right foot forward, basically a warrior stance. Inhaling. Into the ribs, armpit and collar, exhaling. Shifting the torso to the inside of right thigh. Inhale, hands to waist, release hands. Hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Ostrich, other side. Inhale, left foot forward. Interlacing. Exhaling, folding inside thigh. And so another way to attune to the movingness of the fluids in our body is through the blood, letting the muscles work. So if you're being a little stance shy, deepening the stance till you feel that warmth and that work, blood, muscle. And if or when you feel that working, getting a little warmer, how do you open up so that those fluids can exchange and move? So it's both work and open. There you go. Inhale, we'll bring the hands down to the sacrum, down to the ground. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. All right, gently set the knees down. We'll have a seat. Maybe you want your strap nearby. We're moving into shoelace, arms, and archer. So I've got my right leg on top and my right elbow pointing up. We'll have the option to remain upright or in a few breaths time to fold. Just want you to know. Oops. So with the feet active, where am I? Come on. Inhaling into the mid ribs, upper ribs. And exhaling, feeling the sinking weight of the left arm bone, the leg bones. And the option to fold, you might like staying upright more. And release. We'll do the same on the other side. So shoelace left over right. And then archer, left elbow up, right elbow down. There you go. You can simply feel the weight of the right arm letting down. You can feel the weight of the leg bones letting down. Option 1 is remain upright. Option 2 is fold, your pleasure. And let's release. Which puts us in the neighborhood of Shavasana. So, let's do so. So you can lie back or even take a position that allows for some kinetic stillness. And resting is, there's a certain kind of allowing and gravity, just letting gravity have the mass of the body. Feeling the abdomen relax. And now's a good time to attune to the passivity, just the way that breath wants to occur in the body. And the participation, the doing, is opening up all of the cells to this knowing. So the eyes and the face and the skin and the mouth, they relax and they open up to knowing. Breath here. Awake here. As the shoulders relax, the cells, the heart opens. Awareness here. And underneath the heart and the diaphragm, Because we're open to feeling there, we're open to awareness there. There's no amount of tension that can help us hold on to this insight. But a choiceful participation opens us to this insight. This is awake, this is aware. So when you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side and press to seated. Namaste. All right, all.
Thanks. Thank you.